Okay, Jim, how you were there at the House of Lords yesterday?
It was busy.
It was certainly busy.
Yeah.
What was the mood like?
It was, in terms of the functioning of the House of Lords, it was all very exciting because there was, every now and then in my wonderful experience of 2 years of being in the place, there are moments where the place feels like it's going to have an influence, and that was one last night. And there's going to be more in the next few days.
Right, but so why is there a difference, first of all, between the House of Commons and the House of Lords? It feels like the House of Commons, because it was the vote of the people, don't feel like they can interfere. The House of Lords has what more, I don't know how you would describe it. Is it more of a conscience? Is it more of a... Why is it so different? Well, it feels different.
Well, first of all, of course, members of the Lords are not elected MPs, so they're not constitutionally representative of the people in that sense. So that's why some of the emotional British media will no doubt be having a go at them about this today, about ignoring the will of the people.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is many members of the House of Lords are amongst our country's most experienced people across all walks of life, and don't have the same pressures that go with the House of Commons, and can think more objectively. And certainly from my experience as a minister, the quality of debates about things, including economics, I mean, you've got all sorts of ex-chancellors in there and various people that have been very high in the civil service and the Bank of England, much higher level than you get down the other end of the corridor, I think. And so they are generally more thoughtful about a lot of these things. And I have to say, I was one of the people, one of the 186 that spoke for 6 minutes in the debate last week, and that was, it went on for 19 hours. But it was a long. I wasn't there the whole 19, but the protocol of the Lords is you have to be there at the beginning and the end, so it's a big devotion of time. But it was worth it, and you learn a lot. I heard a lot of very interesting things.
And what will happen on Tuesday?
So on Tuesday, there's an amendment about. Whatever is negotiated in the Article 50, once it triggers, then has to come back to both sides and have another proper debate and a proper vote, as opposed to the one that the PM's offered. And I would imagine, sadly, I'm going to be going on a short trip to Australia, so I'm not going to be there. But that is a big thing, in my opinion. And that is going to be probably a closer vote. But if I were a betting person, I would say the government will probably lose that too. And how the government responds, I think on this one last night, it's a bit procedural. They'll kick it back without acknowledging the amendments, and I wouldn't be surprised if the opposition kind of withers away in the Lords. So it's just really been a statement about principle. But I think Tuesdays is going to be a bigger deal.
So, Trevor, how should the markets, does it change the way that you manage money? Because I don't know if it automatically extends the deadline, or whether it means Theresa May won't be able to trigger Article 50 by the end of March.
I mean, the main place where this would all show up is in sterling, so we're watching sterling very closely. There's a bit of a tug of war here, because on the one hand, you've got the potential for negativity around sterling, not necessarily around the House of Lords vote, but if the negotiations get difficult, if it appears like we're leaving without a deal, so we're on WTO, which, by the way, Trump is trying to unpick anyway, so maybe there is no WTO to fall back onto. Those are the kind of things where the sterling exchange is likely to weaken. On the other hand, the macro data has been quite strong, and the world economy is strong. And so the post-Brexit slowdown just hasn't happened, and that's pulling sterling up. So I think it's a two-way pull. We're watching sterling volatility, the way you would trade an emerging market currency. If volatility starts to pick up, we move away from sterling.
Is that what you guys think?
Yeah.
That sterling is like an emerging market currency?
I think that's the way to deal with politics when it impacts currencies, is to think about emerging markets.
Is that rough to hear?
Eh?
That's rough to hear, isn't it, Jim?
Listen, I'm somebody that believes the phrase emerging market should have been banned 16 years ago, of course. So, all currencies are currencies. They go. I'm not surprised to hear that.